MrBeast paid me $5,000 and he didn't even know. Here's how I got here. It was a day like any other. I was eating dinner with my family when BAM! I had a new Discord notification. It was an announcement from the MrBeast Discord server. The announcement read out, "At contestants, please join mining.mrbeastmc.com with version 1.16.5. We are starting in 30 to 45 minutes. Only 90 slots are available. This is a multiple day event and you can come back online at any time." So me being a sane individual, I immediately rushed to my laptop and launched Minecraft, cause what are you gonna do, finish eating dinner when you've been selected for a MrBeast challenge? Yeah, I didn't think so. While waiting for the event to start, Plutorent, the MrBeast admin, sent another message. This message stated, "For today's event you have one goal, break blocks. The first to mine 1,000,000 blocks gets $30,000. Now $30,000 is a lot of money. I could buy at least 12 Feastables with that. If I wanted to win, I had to come up with a plan and fast. In the previous announcement, it was mentioned that in the 750 by 750 world, only full blocks mined count, and netherite is disabled. This meant I couldn't just punch grass or get a gold pickaxe and mine netherrack. This made the challenge significantly harder. However, if you've watched the MrBeast video, you should know that
apparently if you make an iron hoe in Minecraft, you can tear through leaves like it's nobody's business.
Unfortunately, once the server went live, I couldn't join due to my bad internet and the server being full, and even once I managed to connect to the server, I wouldn't last 10 minutes before getting kicked. I had a ping so high, I was basically playing in a different time zone. By the time I was able to get a stable connection, it was already 2 hours into the challenge, and the Beast crew had stopped recording. This didn't stop me from getting the resources I needed to make a bunch of iron hoes and start harvesting leaves. I quickly climbed the leaderboard and was the first person to hit 100,000 blocks mined. This is when disaster struck. Throughout the challenge, the current leader would have the glow effect, allowing everyone in render distance to be able to see them, regardless of where they were. This was done to make the challenge more competitive. Some players who gave up on the challenge started hunting down the current leaders to sabotage them. A player called Dr. Ducky managed to find me while I was mining iron underground. Even though PvP was off, he managed to kill me with a lava bucket. Yes, I had just died to a player with the name Dr. Ducky. Whilst all this was going on, a player by the name I Am Argo started gaining places on the leaderboard insanely fast and managed to overtake me. At this point, I had been non-stop mining for 12 hours and was exhausted, so I decided to get some sleep. When I woke up, I was 40,000 blocks behind Argo and in 6th place. But that wasn't even the biggest problem. While I was asleep, a second wave of players were invited to compete in this challenge, and since they had a massive disadvantage, they decided to team up to catch up to 1st place. Anyways, after harvesting leaves for a couple of hours, I soon ran into a problem I'd not thought of. I was struggling to find trees. Deforestation was not an issue I expected to face on the MrBeast server. To counter this, I started planting saplings I'd collected from harvested leaves and waited for them to grow. However, what I didn't notice at the time was that with these replanted trees, I was gaining blocks a lot slower. Apparently, one of the rules stated that once you place a block or break a block, that location is saved and can't be reused for scoring. This meant that the planted trees would occasionally grow leaves in a location where another leaf was destroyed, thus not counting it and reducing my efficiency. By the time I discovered this, I was in 9th place and 70,000 blocks behind 1st. Not gonna lie, things were not looking that great. To win, I knew I'd have to get my efficiency back. That's when it hit me. If I wanted to gain my efficiency back, I had to go to a place where I know for a fact no block has been mined. The sky. With the help of my soon-to-be teammate, I created a giant dirt platform in the sky and planted saplings on it. As expected, the trees that grew provided me with leaves that would all count towards my blocks mined. As I was narrowing the gap, the unimaginable happened. Argo, the current leader, got banned for X-raying. What confused me at the time was why Argo was going for diamonds. Harvesting leaves with an iron hoe is instant mining, a game mechanic in which one block can be broken per game tick without the delay of 0.3 of a second. Nothing is faster than that. However, Argo's ban didn't last that long, 2 hours to be exact. Argo was able to provide sufficient evidence that he wasn't X-raying and pinned it on being incredibly lucky. Even though Argo had been banned for 2 hours, his lead was so massive that even once he returned, he was still 110,000 blocks ahead of 2nd place. Argo was winning so dominantly that 90% of the contestants quit, and on average only 10 to 20 players were online at a time. Alright, so at this point I bet you're probably thinking, wow, Afterlord, you suck. How are you this bad? I didn't even know it was possible to throw this hard. There's absolutely no way you win this. First of all, I'd like to say ouch. That's very mean of you. But you're not wrong. Me winning this competition does seem unlikely. However, I knew all hope wasn't lost. The thing about MrBeast is that he wants entertaining content. I might sound a little crazy here, but hear me out. Making a video where someone mines a million blocks with little to no problems doesn't exactly sound like the most entertaining content. So, I thought to myself, if I was MrBeast, how would I make this challenge more entertaining? The reason why this video wouldn't be entertaining is due to the lack of competition, so it would make sense for changes to be implemented that level the playing field to enable more competition. But for now, all I could do was wait and prepare. Earlier in the video, I mentioned Argo got banned for X-raying, and I was confused as to why he was going for diamonds. I think I figured it out. After looking at the Minecraft wiki, I realized that Efficiency 3 Diamond Shovel Instant Mines Dirt, a block that there was no shortage of in the Minecraft world. Now, even though both methods instant mine and technically one isn't faster than the other, while using the leaves method, you'd waste time collecting dirt, creating dirt platforms, planting saplings, and waiting for them to grow back. All valuable time you could be using to mine blocks instead. To confirm this, I did a bit of investigative journalism. For Argo to be unbanned, he had to provide sufficient evidence that he wasn't X-raying. To do this, he uploaded a short clip on YouTube where he directly mined straight into diamonds. What Argo didn't realize was he opened his inventory in the video for a split second. As I suspected, in his inventory, he had 3 enchanted diamond shovels. What's more is in that very same clip, he had his Discord overlay on, exposing that he wasn't actually working alone and had a teammate. His teammate had been repeatedly messaging in chat trading sugarcane for leather. Now, sugarcane and leather really only have one purpose, making an enchantment table and bookshelves. The fact that Argo and his teammates had tier 3 diamond tools implied they had gotten at least a semi-decent enchantment setup. As I thought, my suspicions were right. This was when the genius of Argo hit me. During the initial frenzy of the server opening up, instead of going for resources to mine blocks immediately, he played for the long game. Since the world was only 750 by 750, a set amount of sugarcane could spawn. If you control all the sugarcane, no one else can gear up unless you choose for them to. Furthermore, mob spawning was turned off to reduce lag. This meant that the only leather you could get were from cows and horses that initially spawned before mob spawning was turned off, which made it an extremely rare commodity. This man was playing chess while we were playing checkers. So how do you beat someone who's always one step ahead? Simple. You go to the person who's always 20 steps ahead. Someone who is one of the best at the game. Someone who managed to mine not 1 million, but 20 million potatoes. Techno. Now, for the 5 of you who haven't watched Techno's Potato War video, he employs the use of psychology and philosophy to destroy his opponents.
The opportunity of defeating the enemy is provided by the enemy himself.
Argo already shot himself in the foot by posting that video. His strategy was no longer secret, and people were already starting to follow in his footsteps. What's better is that his teammate was trading sugarcane for leather. This was a big mistake. Remember how I said you could only get leather from killing cows and horses? Well, that's not exactly true. When you fish in Minecraft under the junk category, there's a 10% chance to fish up leather. This meant that technically anyone could get leather, as all they needed to do was get a fishing rod, which is pretty easy, giving away the monopoly they had on the market, allowing for his opponents to gear up. Also, while I was working all of this out, as I suspected, there was another Discord notification. 3 massive changes were being introduced. PvP was going to be enabled, teaming was now allowed, and a $5,000 bounty was placed on Argo and his teammates' head. While these changes didn't directly benefit me, it did help balance the playing field. Argo's 200,000 block lead from second place went from insurmountable to, yeah, that's possible. Now, if you've watched any of Techno's old videos, you know he used to talk about the power of friendship being the strongest force possible. He also killed millions of his own kind to make a sword because he was mildly inconvenient, but we're gonna skim past those details. So the first thing I did, since teaming was enabled, was message the person who helped me build the dirt platform, and asked her if she was willing to team up. I created a new Discord server so we could communicate easier. After talking for a bit, she agreed to help me get first place, even if it meant she couldn't win. After brainstorming for a bit, we came up with a plan. As soon as PvP was turned on, we both would go straight underground and gather as many diamond, iron, coal, and lapis as possible. We set up an underground base with a bunch of chests and began to strip mine. During this time, we also managed to get our hands on an enchantment table through some bargaining. Now, at the surface level, it may look like we're just copying Argo's strategy. Get diamonds, enchant shovels, mine dirt, profit. However, we knew if we wanted to catch up by over 500,000 blocks, that wouldn't be enough. This is when the genius of our plan came in. While Argo was minimizing the amount of time wasted by doing dirt instead of trees, he was still losing time regathering resources once his tools broke. If we wanted to catch up, we needed to eliminate the time needed to gather resources entirely. How did we do that? The plan was simple. The reason why harvesting leaves is so incredibly inefficient was because of the amount of time wasted on gathering dirt, making a dirt platform, and waiting for the trees to grow. So hypothetically speaking, if my teammate was able to gather dirt I mine while instant mining and make giant dirt platforms with saplings, by the time my shovel breaks, I'd instantly be able to change to harvesting leaves, while she can start mining to get resources for new shovels and hoes. It was extremely simple, but yet effective. This combined with the fact that it was Monday and most people had school, I started gaining spots on the leaderboard quickly. I also started putting messages in chat asking people to help me, and a few people who weren't in other teams started helping make dirt platforms, collect resources, and giving me coordinates to mob spawners so we could get XP to enchant, which ended up helping me a lot. While we were peacefully mining, gathering resources, Argo and his teammate had to deal with hundreds of people trying to murder them due to the bounty on their head, which slowed down their blocks mined and also caused them to lose all their stuff, resetting them to square one. Well, kind of. Apparently, Argo and his crew found 3 stacks of diamonds hidden in a furnace underground, which was stored by a known X-rayer. Argo and his crew claimed that they had no association to the hacker and got lucky finding it. Now, I'm no expert, but what are the chances you randomly mine into diamonds and also find 3 stacks of diamonds in a furnace? Look, I'm not gonna say Argo's cheating, but that is some luck that even Dream aspires to have. At this point, the competition had been going on for 4 days and people were getting tired. The admins noticed and implemented a couple new changes. PvP was turned off again. Level 30 enchantment tables were placed at spawn along with anvils and grindstones, and all mob spawners were broken. I managed to overtake team trees and became 3rd on the leaderboard. However, I was still 100,000 blocks behind 1st and 2nd. Not gonna lie, at this point I was mentally exhausted. Once I became 3rd, Team Trees, who were 4th, decided to call it quits, basically locking me into 3rd position. However, the whole of Team Trees decided to join 2nd place, since no one wanted Argo to win. At this point, I had to confront reality that I would end up 3rd, as it was unrealistic catching up to 1st or 2nd. I still ended up winning $5,000, of which I gave 30% to the people who helped me during the challenge, as I wouldn't have been able to do it without them. Along with winning $5,000, I got a custom role in the MrBeast Discord server, which is supposed to increase the likelihood of getting selected for another challenge. Well, MrBeast, it's been 3 years, where's my challenge invite? The funny thing is, even though I won $5,000, I'm pretty sure MrBeast didn't even know he gave that money away. Throughout the whole challenge, I never spoke to him once, and even once the challenge was over, it was his team who handled the finances. To top it off, he gave away $10,000 that wasn't even mentioned in the video. Also, if I do get selected for another challenge, I will definitely be making a video on it, so be sure to subscribe.